Welcome back to part 2 of What If Dekku was the indestructible man? Or the... this one. Here, let me...
Indestructible.
Yeah, here.
Indestructible.
Indestructible man. So Zuko ends up... So where we left off, Zuko, who had a cocoon, like lava cocoon, but everyone was awoken before because of the burning smell. But then the explosion happened, and then everyone woke up. As Zuko was fully evolved, but he was like sleepwalking, or he wasn't. How do I put this? He was the pinnacle of the, like, lost control of his own body because how powerful he is. Or it actually infused with his soul. And everybody, they're like, well, we need to figure out a way to wake him up without damaging him. As Bakugo and the rest of them agree. As all of them agree. So one of them had taped around him. As Zuko was trying, or everybody's like trying their hardest to hold him in. Like basically trying to hold him down so that as he gets or he smacks the head of some name, he gets out of the, he was pretty brutal. None of them died. It's just he went on a rampage. He's trying, or everybody's like, Class 1A, Class 1B, are trying to get him stable home. As Nezu says, we have to, because with overpowered like him, running around like her, we need to knock him, put him to sleep thing. Not like kill him, but just enough to, we need to freeze him. So then Todoroki uses his ice powers to hold or froze Zuko, and as everybody's like, is it almost over? As Zuko broke free, as he starts talking, not yet, as a monstrous voice. As there goes that idea of putting him on ice. As Inko, who was watching the news and saw her own, she knows that creature is her son. Or actually, Izumi was at her place, and she saw that, and she's like, "Oh boy!" As she gets on, or she runs out, as Inko knows that the creature is her son, as she runs out too, like with Osashi, as they all all three of them, or Class 1A and Class 1B are trying to restrain him down, but they did not have any opportunities at this time. So Zuku's power. So, but then the I don't know, or actually, Bakugo said he was just fine a minute ago. Like, one of us, let's say Momo had a really bad feeling. She actually went to check on him with Ochako, and then actually, not Ochako, not Momo, but the invisible girl. Yeah. This girl right here. This girl right here went invisible, like went and checked on him to see him. But to her surprise, she finds a cocoon. Where Zuku's body should have been. Or she's seen it all. Like the Zuku's power overflowing. As she could sense it. As she woke up from her, because she got knocked unconscious. As she gets up, she has to tell them. As she ran, or she got her clothes on before, and she ran to whom, and she tells them what happened. And as when all the or they all thought, okay, so what happened? Well, I went to check on him too because I had a suspicious feeling thing. And after I went in to check on him, the cocoon shells that you saw was forming around Zuku's sleeping body, honey. And and I could sense as she says, the power surging through him that's why his body is evolving. You see it before you. Well, alright. We need to wake him up from his slumber. as how, or some of them says, how can we do that without hurting him? Well, he can take much heat as possible, right? Yeah. Well, let's pour it on him. As every single person used their quirks at their full powers, current power level, to like blast right at Zuko. But Zuko was like taking it. As Inko shows up and tells them to stop doing that. As Zuko's unconscious or sleeping body got up. Or actually, he got up. And he turns around. Because as he crawls, or actually he did walk. As All Might, or not All Might, the Zuko, who, or Inko wasn't yelling, but she used her kind words to like try, as she knows that her own son is, she could feel his pain. He's trying to find comfort of his own. Yeah. He's dragging his own tail home. As he looks at her, as a monster voice says, instead of calling her Inko, or actually he was abandoned, but Inko did her part, so he wasn't upset at her or anyone. But he said, and to her, "Mom, is that you?" As his eyes, his Ling. I'm trying to find the stupid image. His yellow eyes looked at Inko. As she says, "Easy now, Zuko. Just sleep." As he collapsed right in front of her. Not on her, in front of her. And he's sleeping. As and his entire body was indestructible, so the concrete shattered, and the concrete shattered, but Zuko's skull isn't. So he is sleeping. As the Zuko's So now what? What can we do with him? Well, as you knew, or detective knew that and chief of police knew that having this much power that evolved a person is way too dangerous to be like in with his civilians. Wait, as Momo just remembered something. Invisible girl. Did you see no window open? Because remember when he said, I'm going to open the window so that before? Yeah. It was still open, but the blast went right through. Yeah. I think all that extra energy went through, or that explosion went through the window instead of. Yeah. So then. Yeah. So Zuko tries to. So Inko decides. And Asashi knew that. How about keep him at our place? The name. I know that he's probably like gonna wake up soon. So then, so Inko decided, or they tried to move his body, but his body, once in his sleep-like state, is way heavier than any of them ever imagined. So they literally they needed a forklift to lift him up. Lift his entire body up. So then, so they put him in his old bed. And thank goodness his old bed was custom made for him. Because the normal bed could just splat under all that weight. So Zumi decides and to because she knows that she needs to check on her brother. Like she did ask her parents. But then her parents said, sure, at least one of us will switch his turns. If there's anything. Yeah. So, what does Zuko do? Or what does Zumi do? She went and checked on her brother as a little crack went through his face. Or it was small enough. Zumi did not even notice it until the next morning, as the crack went all the way down through his entire chest. As the next, so Inko, well, it was Inko's turn thing, or Sashi's turn, and when he walked in, Zuko, Zuko was, or they're like, what is this? Right. So when he, as he opens his real eyes, instead of the yellow eyes, he had normal green ones. As he breaks out of his shell, as a big buff guy comes out. Like that. That guy. He came out. What just happened? As Sashi was like, you're okay, Zuko. And yeah. So when he went back to, so he was the early bird thing, and he goes back to UA, or he goes to UA. That's what his parents told him. So, all right. Sorry about that. So, yeah. And for that noise thing, yeah, was I accidentally hit a button on my own head. So, yeah. So, basically, Zuko was, when he got out of his men, with like, yeah, as he, his own sister looks at him, or his own family looks at him like he was a weirdo, like he was a stranger. But the Asashi's like, or actually Asashi tells Zuko that, and you normally have these, or actually Asashi says, or Zuko says, what is going on? The rest of you who are looking at me like I'm a stranger to, well, you aren't. It's just you kind of amazed us again, Zuko. What do you mean? As Azumi grabs a mirror, shows it to Zuko, as he saw himself as a big buff guy. Hey, he's like, man. So, yeah. So then, now, because he evolved his body, he can no longer age up. Basically, like, he can't grow old or wither or die away because he's indestructible. Yeah. Yeah. So then, Zuko, whoa, was like, man. And then when he showed up to UA, every girl looked right at him. I'm trying to find this stupid image. Not there. looks at him with love in their eyes, like how anime characters usually do. They're like, some of them even asked him out on a date. As he's like, hey, man, they're all like, yeah, but his own class 1A students, or no, his classmates, knew that Zuko was the only one that's so powerful that even like, yeah. So, yeah. Zuko, every girl, except for his sister, because his sister has no interest in him, because that would have been wrong in every way. But everyone else, like Momo, Ochako, Rinko, rest of them, wanted to ask him out on a date, or are asking him out on a date. He's like, hang, and she's kind of like, as Bakugo, who, and Todoroki and the boys are like, some of them are jealous that the Zuko is getting attention, but you know which ones. Grapefruit Kid, Human Pikachu, and the Tape Boy. All three of them were jealous at him. But then Zuko, so Todoroki's like, hey, Zuko, oh, did you, so if you had to choose one person to date, who would it be? One person to date, huh? I am not gonna, as he says, I'm not gonna choose my sister because that is just weird. Yeah. It's hard for me to choose. But yeah, Zuko. So Ochako, who decided, or all of them decided to have a little competition between. But the Zuko was like, all right, I choose. As he chose Ochako. Oh. And just in this what if. So, yeah. So, Ochako and Zuko got married and had 4 kids. And each one of them inherits the, infinity powers. Because Zuko had so much power, and he can never age. But Ochako could age. So she's that's sort of time skip to the future. Ochako is now a adult woman, basically with some gray hairs. And Zuko's just stay the same. As Ochako is like, wow, the evolve your body, you can never age, it can never die, even. Man, you're so lucky, Zuko. Yeah. So then the kids of his could go through, are going same thing. But Zuko could sense it. And this time, he was the one that, he wasn't scared, but he made some custom rooms for, like, if they do try to, like, go through his thing. Tanya's like, man, what I heard from Invisible Girl and rest of you, that this is the same thing. And, yeah, the explosion happened, and, yeah. So, now, oh, with that all done, now, the 500 subscribers. Numbers is next. So, peace out.